Hello, everyone. My name is Edwin Guillermo, and today I would like to discuss with you a type of pedagogy known as culturally responsive teaching. What it aims to do is to take advantage of one's experiences in order to help them connect the dots to a new piece of information, in this case, a school curriculum. When people experience new things, they have a tendency to look at their past in order to gain some type of insight into what is being presented in front of them. It's a completely normal thing to do. By leveraging these experiences, you help establish a connection between the information and a relevant portion of their lives. A common question raised by students when they're discontent with school material is, will I ever actually use this outside of a school setting? Establishing relevancy will help motivate these students to build understanding of the content because they'll know that they will be exposed to it in one form or another in the future, whether it be in higher level learning if they go to college and things like that, or in their day-to-day lives. They're going to see it again. This style of teaching, this method of teaching, was birthed from the desire to mitigate the disproportionality in academic success in minority populations. Research suggests that the cause is an educational system that has deep European cultural roots that simply doesn't capture the minds of the minority populace. People can say that they don't make assumptions or judge people, but the truth is everyone has inherent biases that they can't turn off. You can't flip it off like a switch. And educators are included in that. That's where this method of teaching gains its merit. Culture cannot be separated from the educational system. What you learn helps shape who you are. And if you become an educator, who you are helps shape the way you teach, which in turn will affect or build a new culture in the next generation. So they go hand in hand. And the demographics in the classroom have also evolved. And as a result, you have a vast amount of different student approaches to problems. So when you have an educator that only tries to provide instruction through one lens, through their own personal perspective, you end up developing dependent learners because the students, through no fault of their own, can't wrap their minds around the point the teacher is trying to make because the way the information is being presented and their backgrounds, they don't mix. It doesn't vibe, it doesn't gel. So then it's harder for them to learn. Okay. And then they become dependent on the teacher, always asking, or to repeat themselves and things like that. They become dependent on the teacher to even move forward, which is exactly what you don't want. So when we talk about backgrounds and culture, some things that help build that is language, communication. I personally am bilingual. I speak both English and Spanish. The way I speak to my English speaking friends is not the same way that I speak to my Spanish friends. The languages, they're inherently different. Some languages are more aggressive than others. Some are more soft spoken, and that helps shape the demeanor of the individual. You have family ties and traditions; those help shape the way the student processes things. Location, where they live, that alone can help shape who they are. And expectations is a big one, and that's where I look at things a lot. As a science teacher, I don't really get to talk too much about cultural things in the classroom because in literature and in history classes, you can bring up those things freely and they come up more often. But in a science class, that's not really the case. But what I do hear a lot is students being comfortable with a lack of success because of the color of their skin. In my physics class, I have a lot of students say to me, "Oh, it's natural for me not to understand this. It's not my forte. I'm black, so I'm bad at this or I'm bad at that, and it's okay. That's normal." And I don't accept that, and I do my best to try to diminish those things. Okay. I want to talk for a second about what cultural responsive teaching is not. It is not a mission trip. And what I mean by that is if you think about a missionary, someone who's trying to spread their religion, something that they do is they try to gain insight into someone's culture and background in order to figure out the best approach to dismantle it. They're trying to chip away at it in order to insert a new way of life, a new way of living. They're trying to convert them into something that they're not. Okay. What we don't want to do is to try to mold the student to fit the curriculum. We want to mold the curriculum to fit the student. Okay. We don't want to force the students to have to learn a certain way, because that's impossible. They're too diverse. There's too much going on, and it's not effective. So what we're trying to do is shape the curriculum to the student, not the student to the curriculum. And simple acknowledgement and appreciation of differences in different cultures is not enough. That's the same thing as having information on a certain, let's say, project or something you're trying to fix and not applying it. Okay, it doesn't make sense. It's pointless. So there's no point in having the information if you're not going to use it. So when we think about the teacher's roles in a culturally responsive classroom, the teacher is essentially a cultural organizer and a cultural mediator. Like these are what a lot of the research labeled them as. When we say teachers should be cultural organizers, what we're saying is they need to develop a classroom, format their lessons in a manner that allows the different cultural backgrounds of the students to be expressed. Okay, set it up in a manner that people feel comfortable talking or expressing themselves. And as a mediator, what you're trying to do is to help establish different dialogues when the opportunity presents itself. I phrase it that way because, again, me as a science teacher, I don't get too many opportunities to discuss these things. But when a student makes a side comment about something cultural, that's when I try to take advantage and try to start a dialogue in order to help them develop their own cultural identities. Like I said, teachers to me are more than just instructors. They're mentors, they're life coaches, things like that. So you need to be careful in the classroom about what you say and how you say it, because it affects the way these students are going to view themselves as they get older and develop. Okay, they're in the development stage. So it's important to do that. So you act as a cultural liaison, trying to build connections, and you want to organize it in a manner that everyone feels comfortable expressing themselves. Okay. And some of the ways you can begin to do that is with surveys and questionnaires to try to gain insight into their background and their interest, and do that in order to contextualize problems in a manner that is relevant to them. Okay, if you can make word problems in a way that is relevant to their day-to-day lives, then they're more likely to put their best foot forward and try to, get to the end goal, which is to, at the end of the day, learn the material. Guest speakers are a good way to incorporate different success stories, and show some of the less motivated kids, or not even less motivated. They don't believe that they can achieve something. Bring in some guest speakers to prove to them that, hey, if this is what you're trying to accomplish, here is living proof that you can do that. Learning stations are good for incorporating different learning styles, and so that you can touch every single aspect of that and try to cover as much ground as possible. And peer-to-peer teaching can help build those cross-cultural relationships, since students get to directly express themselves to another student. Okay, they go back and forth, and that can help build those connections. Oh, again, I want to summarize culturally responsive teaching. The objective is to, again, leverage experiences in order to connect dots. That is the main goal. Okay, that is the objective. We're not trying to transform students into something that they're not. We're trying to learn about them in order to figure out the best approach to help them. Okay, that's what the goal and the objective is. Hey, I want to thank you guys for your time. If you have any questions and want to have any discussions, please feel free to reach out. And we can try to set something up. Okay. Thank you guys for your time and have a wonderful day.